All right. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Miriam Burbano, and I am one of the Revolution English coaches. And I'm here to start with the new tutor information session.
100,
Um,
100, thank you.
I was just telling Lisa about me and the things that I've done and how proud I am of this Revolution English program. And one of the best things that I've done in my life, I think it is this one. I am also a co-founder of a charter school, and I am an educator. I teach a class. I teach an English class, ESL class, and in my free time, I teach a math class remedial math class for the students that want to attend college, but they are kind of in the limbo between high school and college. So I am going to proceed right now. So I know that some tutors were not able to come to this training, so they will receive this recording. And if they have any questions, they can just send us the questions by email or by text. We are always here to support you 100%. We are also very grateful that you are taking the time out of your days. We know here in the United States, seems like everybody is super busy every minute of the day. And the fact that you're taking the time to volunteer and to help other person to acquire or master the language, it's something that I really appreciate personally. I was telling Elisa that it was very difficult for me when I came to the United States and I was not able to communicate. And that's why this program is so important to me, because the frustration and the upsetting moments where I wanted to say something and I was not able to kind of fueled me to continue my learning at a very fast speed. And I did it by using immersion. And immersion, all that it is that you do something for 4 or more hours every day. So in this case, we are talking about English. And if a person really immerse themselves or practice English for 4 hours or more in a year or so, they will be able to master the language, to actually be on the other side of the curve saying, I understand, I am able to communicate, and I'm able to have conversations. So the power of immersion and the way that we are using it here, and you can, research about immersion and immersion strategies and all that. But as you can see, we have the New York Times have published articles, and there are many articles about immersion. What we are doing here is that trying to motivate the students for them to speak, to listen, to read, to think, and ultimately to dream in English. And so, Lisa, as I told you before, stop me anytime that you have a question, that you have a comment. You will help me that way if the two of us have this training together. So the way that we work here with the student is that we're going to be supporting them, motivating them with daily texts. We also send weekly email messages, and every time we send a different strategy or a tip that they can use in their daily lives, because we are absolutely sure that they don't need to go to a school and sit down in a class for hours and hours, that they can do it by themselves. And most of the things that we're sharing, if not all, are free. They can listen to music, they can read, they can write, they can go to the library, they can repeat with closed captions. All those little things that they seem so simple, if they use it every day, it will make a difference in their lives, in the way that they communicate. So that's the first thing. So the motivation through text and emails, right? And then the step number 2 is you. The most important piece of this program is tutors, because lots and lots of people, millions of people, are able to somehow read and understand. Also, they are somehow able to listen and understand. But the thing that is most complicated is actually have a conversation. getting those words connected with other words to make whole sentences and to transfer them from the brain to your mouth and actually, put the whole sentence out. So they say, I know how to say this, but they just can't verbalize it. So that's why practicing what they know with you as a tutor is super, super important. And the other thing about this is that we live within communities. So in my case, I am Hispanic and I live within my community. So every time that I am with my friends and my family members, I speak our language. We speak Spanish. We say hello in Spanish. We sing in Spanish. And so if I am studying English, my whole learning is going to go down when I go home. And that's why tutors are important, as I said before, because you will be practicing what they know, not what you know as a tutor, but what they know as a student for a whole 60 minutes with no stopping. It's like, it's crazy how we can go and talk la 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 an hour, and they also can keep up with it in English. So it is super, super important, your participation. We thank you for that. And then the step number 3 is something that we call super classes, which is some sort of training like the one that I'm doing right now, in where I talk about specific strategies. For instance, the other day I had one and I talk about listening, and I talked about TED Talks, which, are you familiar with them, Melissa?
With the pep talks?
The TED Talks.
I'm not sure.
No, TED, like TED Talks.
Oh, no,
as a person just show up. Yeah, a person that shows up and start talking, and they deliver fantastic speeches. And so I was telling a student about it. The student got hooked, and now she can't stop. She loves to, because it depends on the topic, right? So that's what I do during the super classes. So this is actually a picture of me teaching or tutoring a group of students. One of them is not a student. One of them is another coach, and his name is Eli. But the other ones are actual students. And so we will have 1 hour of conversations. You will receive a topic every week, something that you can talk about with your students, but it's only as a recommendation. It's not something that we want you to follow. What I do is that I ask the students what they want to talk about. Sometimes they want to talk about, job interviews, or they want to talk about baking. One student actually wanted to talk about exercising because she likes to go to the gym, but she doesn't know the words that she has to use during exercising times. Which, by the way, were very challenging for me because I don't do much of a gym. I go there once a week, and then what I do the most is yoga. And so in yoga, I don't talk. I just do. Then you will have video calls like this one. 1 student, 2 students, 3 students, and max 4 students. The challenging thing about the groups of students is that you will be tutoring, so you will receive an email and say, okay, Lisa, you are going to be tutoring students intermediate, or let's say beginner, because that's the problem, basic beginning students. But the sessions are open. You know what I mean by open sessions?
Like everybody can talk?
Yeah, everybody can come. All the students can come. They can be super advanced, or they can be intermediate, or they can be basic beginning. So it is you as a tutor that are going to set what level you're talking or you're speaking at that time, because anybody can come in, but that class is for beginners. And you explain to the other ones, okay, this is a beginner class, and we are welcome all of you to be here. And sometimes they just show up to see what it is that you're talking about. But if you have only 1 student, you just tutor the student at the student's level, right? If the student is an advanced student and you don't have anybody else there, well, for instance, an example is if if you are tutoring a beginning class and you're talking about transportation, then the question is for the student, do you go by bus to your school, or do you take, or do you drive? Do you drive to go to school, right? So that is the beginning one. And even that is a lot, because a do will freak them out. Instead of that, you also could say, you drive to school. You see, even though it's not grammatically correct, the student might be able to understand you better than if you say, do you drive to school every day, right?
Yes.
And then you also have to be kind of a multitasker, because you have to ask the question verbally, but you also want to chat with the student. So you want to type the question correctly. So when you type it, you type it grammatically correct. But when you speak, sometimes you have to drop some words. For instance, would you like to? That is not a beginning word, right? Would you like to, da, 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 or I would like. You just say, you like to, and then you type it correctly until they kind of get the idea that is, I would like go swimming, whatever. But if you are talking to an advanced student, and the advanced student and the topic is transportation, then you can ask a question, something like, what do you think about mass transportation? Or what does it look like, mass transportation in your neighborhood, right? So it's a totally different thing how you ask a question to a beginning one than to an advanced. And I apologize in advance if I am telling you things that you already know, is that I just have to cover them, okay?
It's okay. I like going in depth.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, because some people are already professional tutors and they might be thinking, I know this already, but I just have to cover it. So yes, so let's see. So these are just little tips. And by the way, if you can think of any other tip that I can share with other tutors during my tutoring sessions, please, please, please let me know. It's always great to have more tips. Okay. So start where the student is. Sometimes they say, I am a beginner, or I am at the beginner level of English, and it's not true, but they are just not confident, right? And so I'm not going to, if I hear a student and the student, because the first thing that I go is like, hi, my name is la 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 la, as I did with you. And then I ask them some questions. Then I will be able to assess the student very quickly within 2 minutes to know if the student is really beginner or is shy and is not confident. And then I will choose my words. At the beginning, I will, go with the very easy questions, like, for instance, what did you do today? Or what did you do this morning? And also I would say something like, do you want to talk to me about your day? So I will know if they go like, oh, today was a great day. I went to school, and after that I had a meeting with my supervisor, and I'm like, oh, wow, right? But if the student goes, this morning, very slowly, I have questions to ask. So you need to switch really quickly between one student and the next one level and the other level, and how you phrase your questions. So some students will have questions, or they want to talk about American culture, or they need help with a specific thing during their times. So as you can see on my screen, you can have help with the job, talking to a teacher, visiting a doctor, etc. And then don't, as I said before, you don't have to talk about the topic of the day. But if you get stuck and like you have you don't know what to say or what to do, then just go for the topic, and that will help you. And you don't have to stay in the topic, but it's a good start. It's a good conversation starter. In the chat, when you're talking, let's say, about and it's a beginning student. With an advanced students, everything is easier, but the beginning is the issue. And then ask the student if they can actually find the chat, and then you can start having a game. The first thing that you could do is a game. Okay, let's just write words about transportation or words about education. Anything that comes to your mind, and you don't wait for the student. You start and you go. Dictionary, you type it. Book, computer, desk, chair. Do you? And then you stop and you ask. Do you have any word that that you want to use about education? And they might say notebook or pen or pencil, and then you type it. They don't type, you type, because there is too much for you to ask them to type the spelling and think at the same time and talk at the same time. So all that we need from them is for them to speak. Even if it is really broken English, you will listen to the sentence and you will type it correctly, and then you will ask the student to repeat it. And they love that, because it's like, oh, this is what I said. And then you say, yep, that's what you said. And also, they will see the production of the conversation because you're typing what they say. And for the advanced students, you don't have to do it. For the intermediate and the low students, it is a good recommendation to do it. And then every time, look for a way to close your sessions happily, in a way that the student doesn't leave the chat with you, the video conference, frustrated or upset about them not to be able to communicate. The way that I do it is that I ask them like 5 or 7 minutes before my session is over. I ask them to reread everything that we already typed. So this is the second time for them to read it again, and they feel like they have progressed, that they have made it to somehow the next step or the next level. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It makes
So
yeah.
Tell me, please.
It makes them feel more comfortable because they are able to say the words.
They already said it once, right? And so they go like, okay, and then you said it again because you're repeating it. Then they feel like, okay, I made it and it was good. And so that's the way that we want to close the sessions. Another way to close sessions happily is by playing the game of words. So the same word that we talked about before. I mean, you can use any type of game. I am kind of simple, so I use the same ones, and it seems like they like it. For instance, if we're talking about transportation, then we start with the race. Okay, give me 5 words that you know about transportation in English, and they go bus, taxi. Oh, taxi! Come on, that one is in Spanish too, taxi. So that one doesn't count. And they go, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, and then we play the game, and they are always winning, right? And that's what we want, because when we are happy, we learn faster and we learn more. And the opposite is also true. If we are sad, it's like, yes, we're frustrated, we are sad, we really can't. So smiling from you, it's a good way to make them feel comfortable. The feedback is also good when you give them little feedbacks along the way. When you say, great, I like the way that you say that. Oh, that's perfect. And then you type a full sentence and they read it for you. And then you go, see, that's perfect. I like that. So little words that tell them that they are progressing in their English. So I would like for you to read this because this will be your role as a tutor. So you will be a guide, you will be a coach, you will be tutoring. So can you read this for me, please?
Share your own life stories. Answer questions about life in the United States. Share pieces of American culture and traditions. Point them to resources that might help them with current challenges, such as medical services, local government, public school authorities, etc. Help them connect with each other. Help them come up with ways to practice more. brainstorm ways to incorporate English into their daily lives, engage them with each other, help them set goals.
Thank you. Yes, the guidance that we offer them is very important. I had a student that the first session, like, she didn't produce any English at all. The second session, I don't know how, I just say something because I said if she cannot speak, at least she can listen to me and that will help, right? And so I said, well, do you love politics? I said to her. And she was like, yeah, so, she said. And I said, I love politics. I follow politics in my country. I follow the politics in United States. I follow the politics in my city. It's like I can't have enough. And then she goes, oh, I like politics too. And you wouldn't believe after that the production of English that she did. It was like, what? You're not a beginner student. You're like an advanced politician. So sometimes you telling your stories will inspire them, and it will take them out of that place where we are when, even though we know how to, we can't. We just can't produce the sound. So, and so when it says here, share pieces of American culture, it is also important because the other day I had a conversation about gender inequality because I am such a political person, and I don't know much, but I just love it. So gender inequality, and I start talking about that, and so the person started talking about what happened in his country with this thing about men and women, right? And she was not for gender equality at all. She was like, no, I mean, who's going to take care of the children? The woman has to be at home, and we're supposed to cook, and it's so great for me to be able to cook. And I'm like, okay, so I kind of slow down my thing, and I allow her to tell me, even though I was not at all, in sync with her ideas or in agreement with her ideas. That was not the point. The point was that she was practicing her English. Okay. That was fun for me not to refrain myself of telling her, right? But it's like, no, Miriam, you're a guide here. You're not schooling this person about politics. I'm like, okay, easy, Miriam, easy. So it was a good lesson for me. Can you help me about your role as a tutor? What are the things that you're going to tutor your students?
Be 5 minutes earlier to the tutoring session time. You have permission to correct them, help them improve pronunciation, share multiple phrases for saying something. Oh, something happened.
Oops.
Share words with similar meanings, synonyms. Share words with opposite meanings. Share words with similar sounds. Use the weekly topics to explore new vocabulary. You are language tutors, not therapists. If your student needs help outside your role, please let us know.
Okay, do you want to tell me a little bit about the last one? Because each one of them are very simple. Like, for instance, if your student gets stuck and you want to help them not to tell the word, then you use, words with similar meanings. So if they want to say, well, this is too simple, but the idea is if they want to say that somebody's pretty and they don't know how to do it, then you say, the opposite of ugly is, the opposite of tall is, and they will come up with, the word on their own. But the last one is a funny one. What do you think about that one?
It might be hard if you have, a person you have to tutor and they get really emotional, but yeah, we just have to keep them talking.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, they will. And I usually, as a tutors, I am recommending all our tutors to go into happy places. Try not to go into sad places in people's lives, because all of us have emotions and subjects or topics that are making us even sadder. For instance, if somebody asks me about my daughter moving out of California and going to New York for school, I will just start sobbing and crying and all that, right? But instead of that, I can talk about how happy I am that has actually completed college. She's going to go for a PhD, and then the whole tune is going to change, right? So it depends on your questions, and also depends on how you're managing the students' sentences. For instance, one of very common thing is for an immigrant to say how lonely they feel because they don't have anybody here, right? And it's like my case. My mother and my father are not here. My siblings are not here. I don't have uncles or aunts or cousins or anybody. And then I can start crying. But then you need to step in and say something like, yeah, I have a friend that she's also along the United States, and somehow she goes and volunteer in schools, or she attends meetings, and now she's very active in her community because she has all that time that she doesn't have to invest in the mother and the father and the cousin and the sister. Well, now she's putting that time doing a cleanup at the beach or cleaning up the park with a couple of friends, and she spends her time that way. So you spin this whole thing and make it into a positive thing, so people don't go into the place where they are not going to need therapists. Now, if they tell you things that they shouldn't or whatever, you say, first of all, you just try to go away without saying anything, not even acknowledging. But if that doesn't work, and then you say, would you like us to send you some sources about it, like addresses or public resources? I will inform my supervisor. I will get in touch with you. Okay. And then you send us an email telling us more or less what the issue was, and we will get in touch with the student. Now, if you feel that it's an emergency, call 911. Okay.
Okay.
As you can see, today we had tech problems at the beginning, and there is a tutor that couldn't attend the meeting because she couldn't connect, and that is a very not normal but common thing. And so some of your students might not be able to connect. The sound is not going to sound perfectly, and the picture is not going to look all pretty. All these things that come along with technology. And so be prepared for having that kind of issues. Kind of memorize this phone number that you have in front of you, 424-255-8219, and then tell the students to call this number, or you can call this number, because this person is tech support, and her name is Stephanie, and she is amazing with tech support. It will help anybody and everybody. And then also there is not email here. I am going to add an email here because it's also important that you have that email. For anything, just send us an email and we will be able to answer your questions. So here it is. Here's the expectations for tutors. You have to be kind of knowledgeable about these video calls, and where the chat is, how you share your screen, about the volume, how you can mute your students. Sometimes they are being tutored in a public place, let's say the Starbucks or the train station, which I had one, and it's very loud, and so you have to mute them in order for you to be able to communicate with them, and then you admit them when they are talking. And then when you have two or three students, you have to unmute some the other person to be able to. Are you available to commit for a period of about 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you, for whatever reason, have to be absent, we understand 48 hours, and if possible, if it is an emergency, send us a text or a really quick email saying, I will not be able to be in an emergency. You don't have to say anything else, but then we will know that you will not be there with the students. Do not schedule private tutor conversations with your students. We are not allowing that to happen. The students usually get attached to the tutors, which is a great thing because there is a great communication between the tutor and the student, and they feel like you are helping them, which is the point. And they feel like they would like to have more tutoring sessions. But for the first round, you just tell them, let's do this once a week. And you can play the YouTube video and repeat and pause it and repeat back again. You can do this alone once a week. For right now, it's plenty until you need more. And if you need more tutoring sessions, send an email to Revolution English and see how we can accommodate that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have more time and you want to have more sessions, let us know. We're always looking for more people. Hopefully, if we have sessions with one student, that's perfect, because that means that student gets 60 minutes of conversation or English tutoring. You will receive an email after tutoring sessions. And so please send us a short feedback, because it is important for us to know what happened. Try to see if you kind of see and remember the name of the student. So you can say, like, if I was your student, you will say, today I tutored Miriam for 60 minutes. And the student felt very comfortable and she was talking most of the time. And whatever, we had a little bit of tech problems with technology, but we were able to overcome them or things like that. Also, if you're available to do substitution, let us know, because when somebody has an emergency, then we will send you an email saying that if you have time, you can help us with that. If you like the program and if you find it rewarding and fun, please recommend us with your friends to have more volunteers and more tutors. Like right now, we really need help with Team 2 and Team 6. Actually, Team 2, 6, and Team 5. We don't have a regular tutor for these sessions. So if you or anybody that you know has those times, please let us know so we can sign them in and train them, and they can, or if you can take some, that would be awesome. I or another Revolution English coach can jump in at any time at any conversations that you have with your students. So please don't be, we don't want to scare you. We just want you to know that it is our job to observe the tutoring sessions, okay? And you do not even need to acknowledge us if you don't want to. We're just going to be there, listening to the conversation. But if you want us to participate, you also can. Let's say that you are talking about favorite foods, and I am there. You can ask me the question. I will not do it all by myself, because that's not my job. But if you say, hey, Miriam, what is your favorite food? And then I would say, oh, from Colombia, and then I will start talking like for an hour. But you need to, thank you, Miriam, thank you. We hear you. And then, move on with the student, because some students will try to speak for the whole entire tutoring session, which is good if they are along with you, if you have only one student. But if you have 2, 3, or 4 students, you have to be able to cut them off. Meaning like, oh, thank you, Miriam. What about you, Rose? Or what about you, Edward? To allow all of them to have more or less the same amount of time during the tutoring sessions. We will send you a text reminder, but I also am recommending you to set your alarms. I bet you are good with alarms because you are a biology student and you have to study a lot. And just to let you know, that in 30 minutes or so you will be receiving, the tutoring session is coming up. Any questions?
For the am I also going to receive a link, an email link to the video chat?
Yes, to the tutoring session, yes. You will receive the time, the link, and you will receive a tutor guide for the topics of the week. And in the future, soon in the future, you will receive also some sort of lesson plan that the student also will receive. So the two of you have a little bit more flexibility of how to start a conversation. Any other question?
I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, wait. For the feedback, I have to start the email
Okay.
or is an
Remember the email? I'm sorry.
sorry. Are they going to send an
Go ahead.
email that I should reply to, or should I start the email?
You will receive an email 5 minutes after your session ends, and you finish your session and immediately you go on and reply. It serves for many purposes. One of them is attendance. Another one, we know that you were there. Another one is like, how are you feeling about it? How I can support you better. If you have any questions, just send it in there. That way we ensure that you feel like you're not alone there with a student or a whole bunch of students that don't know how to speak. Is that we are with you and the students are improving every day in their communication skills. Remember the email that I said, oh, I don't see the email? That's the email. Veronica at acceleratingchange.org.
Okay.
Yes, and that's the phone number, something that you should have handy every time, just in case. Most of the time you will not need it, but if you need it, you have it. So role playing. I don't know what time it is. Let me check the time. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let's do this for 5 minutes. I am going to be your student, and you're going to be my tutor. And when I count to 3, you are going to start the tutoring session. Okay? You will know what to do and what to say. I'm just going to be a high beginner student. Do you have any questions before we go into the role play?
No. I don't think.
Okay, let's do it then. 3, 2, 1. Showtime.
Hi, I'm Eliza. I live in Maryland and
Hi,
I like
Elisa.
cakes. What's your name?
Cakes. Miriam.
Do you like cake?
Sorry?
Do you like cakes? Do you like sweet stuff? Ice cream?
Sweet. I like sweet. Yes,
You
ice
like
cream.
sweet.
I like it.
Do you like flavored strawberry flavored ice cream? Chocolate ice cream? Vanilla?
Chocolate like ice cream. Chocolate ice
So
cream. I like
you like chocolates? How about regular chocolate?
Sorry?
Do you like regular chocolates? Do you like chocolate milk?
Milk. I like milk.
Do you like other sweet stuff? Do you like candies?
Candy, yes. I like candy.
You like candies? See. Where are you from?
I'm from Ecuador.
Where do you live now?
Sorry?
Where do you live?
Live?
Where's your home?
Oh, Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
Do you go out a lot?
Out?
Do you go on walks?
Walks.
Do you go to
Walks.
parks, to malls?
I go, yeah. I go to the park to the with my children.
How many children do you have?
Oh, you're amazing, Elisa. Wonderful. I'm sorry. I am out of the role play. Yes. You take anything that I give you because I will be giving you very little, right? Very, very little. And so you take anything that I give you and they go from there, right? Okay, so I said children and you go immediately. How many children do you have? That's good. Excellent.
Thank you.
You surprised me. I have 3 children.
What are their names?
I'm sorry?
What do you call them?
Them?
What are your children's names?
My children's names? Julia, Julio, and Maria.
How old are them? Are they?
Them? Them?
How old are they?
They have 5 years. Julia has 5 years.
She's young.
Young, yes. And then I'm out of the role play. Then you repeat what she said correctly. So she said, you know, Julia has 5 years because that's the way that we translate it into Spanish. But then you say, Julia is 5 years. She is young, as you said.
Okay.
Yes. And remember that you're going to be typing these things. So
Yes.
actually, let me get out of my screen sharing because I don't need it anymore. And then I want to see, you know, you type in the things that I said, and then I will look at them and it will be like, oh, that's what I said. So in this case, I would say something like, Julia have 5 years. And then you say, can you see what I wrote? And I will try to repeat.
Can you see what I wrote?
Julia is 5 years old. Yes, Julia is 5 years old.
Okay. So this is actually would be easier if it's on a computer.
Yeah, because you're on a tablet, right?
Yeah.
Yes. For the typing, especially for the typing, it's going to be a lot easier on a computer.
Are we still on role play?
And yes, let's go back because I want you to take me to the topic of the day is, and then you're going to ask me if I want to talk about that. Do you have any special thing that you want to talk about? Because we want them to initiate the conversation, but it's not easy for them to initiate the conversation.
So the topic for today is food, but do you have anything you want to talk about?
Food. I like food.
So what kind of food do you like? Do you like spicy food, sweet food, salty food?
No spicy. No spicy.
So how about sweet or salty?
Salty? Cheetos. Cheetos are salty.
Cheetos. You like Cheetos. Do you like cheese too?
Cheese? Yes. Mhm. So in this case, if you're on a computer, then you start typing those
Oh,
sentences,
yeah,
right?
sorry.
I like cheese, or I like Cheetos, or then you talk about favorite foods. And this is complicated only for at beginning and low intermediate. After that, it gets really easy and engaging. But you are a natural. See, I like cheeses. I like cheese,
Cheese.
cheese. I like cheese. Mhm. Very good. So basically, that's it, Elisa. And by the way, you are a natural tutor. Very good.
Thank
Your
you.
voice is very soothing. So I think the students will be very lucky to have you as a tutor.
Thank you.
All right, so I will be observing you with your classes, during your tutoring times. Um, don't be worried or anything when I showed up. Usually, it is my pleasure if I can contribute to anything, during the class time or after. Sometimes I ask the tutor to stay with me minutes after they finish, so we can talk about, right there and then, instead of sending an email. Because it's easier, and the person will actually realize something, that if there is any need. But that's it. So do you have any other question for me?
I don't think so.
All right. So you will be receiving an email asking you for times and availability and all sorts of things, the admin stuff. But other than that, thanks again for your time. And I hope
Thank
that
you
you fall in love with tutoring.
too.
Thank you,
I
Lisa.
hope so. See ya.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.